buying a home outright. Our next guest is a realtor who says that more than half of her transactions in the past 2 years have involved parents buying homes for or with their kids. Frances Katzen, who is the founder of the Katzen team at Douglas Elliman, joins me now. Great to have you here in studio with us.
Lovely to be here. Thank you.
Let's talk about this a little bit more. How and to what extent of the transactions are you seeing parents being directly involved with these purchases?
I would say entry, as well as people who are coming together and trying to lay down trust and legacy. I think it's become a huge component, especially in softer markets.
What's the significance of that? The fact that you have more parents in the past 2 years being involved with these transactions?
I think it actually sends a message of just how out of reach home ownership is for the entry market. I think it's the average age now is 38 from like in the 20s several decades ago, which says that the cost of living and earning is so much harder to do that first purchase.
You're here in New York, so what are we seeing in this particular market as we talk about location, location, location? Well, we know that this is a more costly location to be a homeowner in as well.
High-cost cities are really tough. It's challenging for people who don't have that intergenerational wealth to back them. It's really tough, and it means that there's a limit, and when you're priced out, it's very hard to own equity.
What are your tips for those who are working with their parents or having the conversations, perhaps, to make sure that they can step into home ownership?
I think it's twofold. I think one is it has to be a vehicle that now becomes a performance asset, meaning if and when the child now moves off, can they use it as an income-producing property? Can they put it with a tax structure that does not incur or convey with a really high tax? And I think people really want to protect and set the next generational foundation.
Is there an average kind of price threshold that you see more of these types of just purchases taking place?
Unfortunately not. It used to just be for the entry market, specifically under $1 million. Now you're seeing it even at the luxury segment of $4 million plus. Yeah. It's happening everywhere.
We know with the new home buyers that are out there, especially among millennials, and I think the average age still right now is sitting at about 38 for the new first-time home buyer.
Yep.
What are the tips that they should be keeping in mind, even if they don't have that parental or familial help?
It's challenging. It means that they need to be putting away 28%, if they can, of their income over the next decade to try and build it up. And that's really hard if you're not getting that much more against the increases of tariff discussion and inflation in general. I mean, everything's expensive right now. So it's much harder to accrue, which means you have to look for the opportunistic time to be buying when nobody else is, such as off-season, when things are negative in the press. It's a perfect time to go in.
What would you make of the environment that we're in right now? Are we buyer's market? Is this seller's market? Where do the chips kind of fall right now?
It's still a bit of a cooler seller's market, but it's absolutely advantageous. Although I have to tell you, we've seen a really nice spike in May. I think it's the second since 2021 of the highest amount of contracts signed at 168. Since 2021 and since 1990, those are the two benchmarks. Really impressive performance for May.
What do you think mortgage rates need to come down to in order for us to hit a sweet spot for where sellers feel like, and especially if they are locked in at an ultra low rate that they were able to refinance at just during or just after the pandemic, if they're already locked in at a low rate, they're less incentivized to actually relist their home right now?
100%. Nobody wants to relist. That's why there's such a shortage of inventory. The only reason it makes sense is there's been such a capitulation in the sales market over these past 2 years due to the increase in actual mortgages that the commodity of space then becomes the value play. And if they do, as the Fed had predicted, 4 adjustments over the course of this year, which has not happened in tandem with that discussion, but the hope and people bought predicated on the idea, I think that people are prepared to sell because they recognize that the market will eventually adjust, rates will come down, and there is inherent value buying up.
How much psychological influence do you think there is in us remaining below 7%? Because that's what we continue to hear from Freddie Mac week over week, is that it's about us remaining below that kind of year-over-year comp.
I think the sweet spot has always been 4.8 to 5.5. Okay. And I think when you start crawling into the nosebleed section of 6.8 up, that's when people go, whoa, 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 I can't make it work. That's why we saw such a protracted market in the entry market. They couldn't make the numbers work.
Francis, great to have you here in studio with us. Thank you.
Really nice being here. Thank you for having me, Brad.